There's a way to make the most out of your notes. When you open up a notebook, go ahead and open up a notebook. I'm going to talk about boundaries. I'm going to talk about boundaries, cigarette Freud. Comment if you like cigarette Freud. I'm going to talk some wisdom. I'm going to try to be quick and not too cringy. So let's pull out some notes. On the left side, we're going to take notes. And on the right side, we're going to make notes. This is how you make notes. You don't know. Talk about boundaries. This is a picture that I took at work earlier. On my previous video, I talked about blocking a guy on Facebook because I was annoyed. And I talked about how not waiting too late to set the boundaries. You know, growing up I wouldn't say I had anger issues, but I was an angry guy because I did not respect myself, because I was busy people pleasing, trying to please the world, trying to get accepted. You know, I've mentioned my autism in this channel here and there, and I want to make more videos about it, but I don't know much about the general public. I'm just trying to gather more information about myself, and that's about this is another I'm walking around too fucking much. Hold up. So if you want to take good notes, you gotta apply it into whatever you're going through in real life. You know, most people, when they watch a video, most people don't create shit. So if you're not the type of person who creates anything and just take, then just keep taking. But if you want to change your life, you know, you want to turn something you take into something you give, then this is what you do. You apply it in real life. So last video I was talking about boundaries, about this guy annoying me for weed, and I finally got him, and he ended up not wanting it and me getting annoyed, and I blocked his ass. And I talked about how not waiting too late, not waiting for chaos, because chaos is gonna come, not waiting for people to not waiting for shit, you know, for people to make the first move before not letting people make the first move before you set out your boundaries. For example, that guy, you know, it didn't need to be personal. I didn't need to wait for it to get personal, or I didn't need to wait for it to get personal or serious before I took action, because I was already uncomfortable, and you know, I didn't need to wait for things to get worse before I set out my boundaries. That's my point. You know, I was an angry kid growing up. I wasn't angry at the world, I was angry at myself. And then I was angry at the world. All because I thought boundaries is when people cross your line and then you do something about it. I thought anger was my friend. And I haven't lit up this cigarette. I'm trying to quit smoking, so maybe talking to this camera and going to this YouTube journey will help me along the way. But I thought boundaries is when people cross the line and then you finally do something. It's waiting for things to go to shit, and then you do something about it. I didn't know that boundaries I thought it's a consequential thing. It's a tit for tat thing. Now I learned that the reason why I wasn't speaking up, I was waiting for myself to get angry, is because I was afraid. I was afraid of what people were gonna think of me if I set out my standard, if I stood up for myself, if I said no, if I said, no, I can't do this, I can't joke around like that, I'm not comfortable of doing that. I was afraid of what people were gonna think of me. But until you voice that out, until you set out your standards for yourself, until you face your fears and the root cause of your problems, your anger, then you're gonna keep circling back to square one. And in my case, I thought that my anger was my friend. I thought that it protected me, and it did. Anger protects you from fear. Anger protects you from fear, but fear protects you from dangers. Fear protects you from dangerous things, death. So instead of being angry, instead of being fearful, maybe listen to your fear, listen to your anger. Why are you angry? Oh, because I'm not standing up for myself. Why are you not standing up for yourself? Because I'm afraid. What are you afraid of? What people are going to think of me. Why are you afraid of what people think of you? Oh, because I'm a people pleaser. Why are you a people pleaser? Because, as a kid, I struggled with reciprocity, and I thought that people, the only way that people will value me is how much I give to them. I thought that if I give as much as love, that they'll give the same in return. So what have you learned about that? I learned that, throughout your Dr. Case video. If you're a visual learner, you watch that Dr. Case video. He talks about how to have a conversation with people, how to have effective conversation. And he talks about how what I'm trying to express, how reciprocity is hard to come by. So the lesson in the end that I learned is people choose misery. Sometimes people choose misery, sometimes people choose to be envious instead of inspired. Sometimes people choose to be scared instead of brave. Sometimes people choose to be insecure instead of confident. People choose the opposite of what you're choosing. And it's not black and white, right? Sometimes it's your brain, sometimes it's your nervous system, like in my case. The thing that changed my perspective about autism, and the reason why I'm coming out more about it, is because I learned that my perspective about mental illness. First of all, autism it's not a mental illness. It's a nerve. It's something to do with your nerve. It's a nerve problem. But then when I learned that it's something to do with your neurons and your nerve in your brain, I thought how any mental illness, anything that's wrong with your brain, is a physical problem, because your brain is physical and your brain is not properly functioning. Any mental illness is a physical illness, and that's how I changed my perspective about. I used to be afraid of coming out as the autistic guy, but people can tell. Just tired of masking it. There's a lot of autistic individual that has done great things. Messi, Elon Musk. Not sure if Einstein was one, but your choices is what makes you who you are. It's not, you know, what you got in life or any of this thing.